right fit for me at the time. So it so happened I was on the internet one day, and then I just bumped into the website of DataCamp, and I'm like, DataCamp, what is this? Let me have a look at this website. So I looked at the website, I looked at the courses. There was something on, I think at the time it was, I'm not sure what it was. I think it was analytics, but with Python. So I'm like, oh, okay, I've heard of Python. What do these people do? Because I have a brother who is a software engineer, and he had always been telling me, oh, you can become a software engineer. Just try, do these online courses. You don't have to go to uni. Just practice it. But I looked at software engineering, but I didn't really have the love for it. But he had never told me anything about analytics, that you could also use Python in analytics. I'm like, oh, this exists as well. So when I opened the data camp and there were those free courses, I said to have a look at it and take one course. So I said with the one for analytics with Python, and I really was enjoying what was happening. So as I continued doing the course, I started to Google, okay, what can I do with this course if I actually went forward with this? Is there a world whereby this skill is actually useful? So I realized that yes, there are people who are called data analysts, and it's the kind of work that they do. You can use Python, you can SQL, you can use Excel. So I'm like, okay, let me just finish this course in DataCamp. So once I completed the course, I did a small project whereby I think we're looking at movies, using Python and getting, those like the sum, the average, the median, really those basics of analytics. So I was really, really excited about it. Then the next thing that I did was that they in the website, they let us know that you can also go a step further and also learn SQL or SQL. So I'm like, okay, SQL, I've never heard of this one. What is this? So I went ahead and did a short course on that of analytics with SQL as well on DataCamp. So I did that as well. Yeah, that one was a bit tricky. I don't know why I found Python easier than SQL for some reason. I don't know why, but I tried that as well and I completed it. Now that time with the engineering, it had gone, a bit left. So I wanted to quit and try something else. So it so happened that there was an ad and they wanted an analyst at a very junior level. It was at an intern level, and I decided to try my luck. And that's when I applied with those few skills which I've told you about that I did online. Applied and I applied there, and then I got that internship position. And basically that was my entry into analytics at that point as a very beginner, although I had started in engineering. So once I started there, it just helped to solidify my confidence in the field. So I said, okay, let me just try this out and see if I like it. If I don't like it, I can always just leave and do my own thing in engineering. And then we'll see how it goes from there. But once I went into the field, I really gained the love for it, and I met amazing people who just helped keep pushing me. And yeah, the rest is history. So basically that's been my journey from engineering and how I went into analytics.
Okay, that really seems interesting, and I hope you guys can see how easy the journey is. Yes, that's really easy. Liz, you made the journey seem so easy. Please tell us, how easy is it?
Yeah, so to me, I think it's actually easy or medium. Okay, medium easy, because the only challenge that I can see is being consistent, because I kept on studying. I kept on learning one skill. I went to the other, and I kept on looking out for opportunities as well. Because the first opportunity I got was just an internship. And if you're somebody who wants to start from the very top in something, you're not going to grow, because you can't get a job that's going to pay you the salary that you want, yet you're a beginner. So I was able to understand that, okay, my skills are still very basic, but these people see something in me. Apart from the skills, the few skills that I have, I am coachable, and I want to learn, and they believe in me. So it's a combination of those.
Okay, so that makes sense. I think there is some other thing that we've learned. You have to lower expectations, especially if you're transitioning. In fact, even if you're not transitioning, any beginner, our friends who are still in school or the fresh graduates, this you must understand. When you're in school, you think that your ideas or opinions are going to change the world. But trust me, that is not the case usually. So you have to lower expectations a little bit. And also why it is so easy, or it seems so easy for Liz. For anyone to master a skill, they need to have two things. The first one is the love, the passion. So she was passionate about what she was doing. And number two, like she said, consistency. I call it determination. You need to be determined. You need to go beyond, or you need to go out of your comfort zone, and you focus on this and get it. Why the best people the best people that I have met in the field of analytics do not have degrees. This, I believe, is because they are passionate about what they are doing, not because they have a degree in it. So thank you so much, Liz, for that. We shall continue to our next question. That is, okay. I think part of this Liz shared. But Liz, I want you to focus now a little bit on what are the milestones? What are the key milestones that you've achieved in your journey? And in those milestones, I need you also to specify some of the challenges that you've faced along the way, because we want to support anyone that wants to transition. I am sure most of the people here are not into analytics. Actually, all of them that introduced themselves, I did not hear anyone in the quantitative field directly. So I need you to tell us, what are the milestones so far? And two, what are the challenges that you've met as you were transforming into the person that you are today?
I really like this question, by the way, when it comes to milestones, because I think the very first milestone I had was getting my internship. Okay. That one was really, really a key milestone, because it showed me that, okay, number one, somebody believes in me. There is something they have seen in me, that despite the fact that I don't have the technical hard skills, there is something they've seen in me that they can groom and they can build in order for them to be able to use the skills that they have taught me to improve the business. So getting that internship, it boosted my confidence really, really, like times 1,000. Then the other milestone I can say is, let me see. A second one I can give is when I finished my internship. So there is getting it and then completing it successfully. Those were two different things, because it was tough. Imagine coming from knowing just what is at data camp level, and now you're translating that into a completely different business. Coming from engineering, and now you're looking at data from another business, which is now into a fintech. Those are completely two different things. That is besides knowing how to write code, but learning a new business and learning how to think and how to use the skills that you have learned to translate into this business. So when I completed my internship and they told me, you're doing great, we love the speed that you're on. Oh my goodness, it was such a reassuring feeling that I'm on the right path, and I just have to continue from up there. So when it comes to the challenges, I'll mix them up, the challenges and the milestones. It was not having imposter syndrome. If you know what imposter syndrome is like now, despite the fact that I had this internship, there are always times when I would doubt myself because you look at code, you have syntax errors, you're running the code, it's not running the way you want. You feel like, did they make a mistake by hiring me? Am I good enough? You're looking at other analysts, they're writing code of like 300 lines, and for you, you're writing code of like 10 lines. And you're like, when am I going to reach this level of this person? How can 10 lines defeat me? And this person can write 300 lines, and there is not even a syntax error. And then you go and ask them, and then they are showing you what to do, and you look at them and like, oh my goodness, they're so smart. How am I going to reach this level? But when you talk to them, they would always tell me, no, Liz, you continue on the right track. Don't give up. But then inside your heart, you're like, oh my goodness, am I going to make it in these fields? How am I going to show people that they can trust me, yet I can't even run 10 lines of code? So the challenge of feeling that you're not good enough amidst people who are seen as experts and everybody looks at them for their opinion, and for you, your opinion, literally doesn't count. Your opinion, no one even listens to it. They just listen to it because they want to encourage you, but you can see it and feel it that I'm definitely a beginner, but I have to keep on pushing. So that was a challenge I faced almost every day. I had to reassure myself, like, you're here for a reason. Yes, you're a beginner, but everyone started somewhere. You can't start from the top being an expert. You have to do the work and put in the hours to understand. You have to keep on asking and seeking a bit of mentorship and not giving up. So I think that has been the major challenge in my career, because right now I'm 2 years into analytics, and seeing where I started and now is like night and day, totally different. And I think the main thing which can differentiate the night and the day is having the confidence that yes, I have to put in the work in order to become better. So once I had the confidence, I was able even to ask for opportunities whereby someone will look at me twice and be like, Liz, you actually think you can do this? And I'll be like, yeah, I can do this. Even if inside I'm shaking, but I'm like, I have to be confident in myself that I can do it before anyone else can have confidence in me. So I think that's what I can share about my journey.
Okay, thank you so much, Liz. I hope you guys who are here, who are starting up, there is something we are picking up from here. Sometimes you will get discouraged. Actually, at one point, you may even feel like giving up. Liz, did you ever reach a point of feeling like, oh, did I really join the right thing or no? Did you ever reach that point?
Yes, I reached that point quite many times. And as women, sometimes you can even cry about it. I would cry and I'm like, I've left this career of engineering. I'm in this new one. Did I make the right choice? But I knew that I had no choice. I had to do it. When you know that you have no choice, there is the way it pushes you forward, knowing I have no choice. This has to work. Come rain, come shine. This has to work.
That's right. Now, people who still believe they have no choice are the people who are going to still be able to maneuver this competition that is coming ahead. You're competing with individuals, you're also competing with machines. I'm not here to scare anyone. We are going also to talk a little bit about this. But the fact is, one, as someone who is actually joining into this field, the number one thing you have to do is you have to remember, first of all, who you are. When you remember who you are, I'm a beginner, I'm a nobody, then you will know that you have a long way to go ahead. You have a lot to learn. You need to be humble enough and be able to pick up. Today is not my journey, so I won't share much, but at one point you may feel like giving up. I remember like 5 years ago, I felt like, because I saw public health jobs everywhere. Kenneth knows this. So I felt like, maybe I should apply for one. But trust me, still there was that inner man in me that kept on telling me, I think that is not your thing. This is your thing. So that we've understood, there are always milestones, there are always challenges, but your determination, your resilience, and also purpose for why you're doing something should keep you going. So we shall move on to our next. So people who are joining us, you're most welcome. You may find the recording for you to catch up. So number 3, Liz, okay, you've talked about beginning in spreadsheets. You talked about saying Python, encouraged by your brother to try software development, but later on you realize it is not your thing. Then you saw something that is SQL, which still you found more actually harder than Python. So, but those, we cannot say those are the skills that one should take. So we need to learn from you, someone who is 2 years into it. Why I invited Liz is for you guys who are starting up to know that yes, you can be a nobody, you start and become someone, okay? So Liz, tell us, in your experience, what are some of the softwares or the skills that you need to excel as a data analyst today? So not just software, but because we have technical and other soft skills, so you tell us the technical and the soft skills that one needs. Let's say if you're a beginner and you want to start up in analytics. Yes, over to you.
Yes. So when it comes to analytics, as you said, there are technical skills and then there are also the soft skills. So I will start with the technical because that's what I started with. So the technical skills, I had Excel. My Excel was quite basic. When I talk about quite basics, I knew how to use the basic functions of sum, median, those basics. You can add, you can subtract, basic Excel, but I knew how to use it. Then I would say in the current market right now, you have to know how to use SQL or SQL. I think at a basic level is quite good enough if you know how to use SQL. Right now, it's really, really important to know SQL. Then now, so as I mentioned, I'm about 2 years in. Over 2 years in. Right now, I'm realizing the importance of Python in analytics. And I would say Python because right now automation is a big thing, and we know when the era of AI. So Python, how it has helped me now is it helps me automate my SQL tasks. So if I know I want to get a report, I use SQL to make my report, and then I will use Python to automate it. So definitely Python has helped me when it comes to automation, and it's one of those skills, if you have Python, that sets you apart from your competition, because now there are many people who know how to use spreadsheets, they know that's Excel, and they also know how to use SQL. So when you have a combination and also put in Python, and maybe to add on to that, apart from Python, then we have a business intelligence tool, which can be like Tableau or Power BI. Business intelligence tool, meaning one which is going to be used to represent the data, how people are going to view your data when it comes to charts. Is it going to be a bar chart? Are you going to use a line chart? So those are the ones. So I would say spreadsheets. Okay, let's say Excel, SQL, the business intelligence tool, which can be Tableau, Power BI, or whatever tool a company might use, and definitely Python, because it will help you set you apart from the others. That's when it comes to the technical skills. Then the soft skills, you have to be willing to learn. You have to be very coachable, because I know and I believe that I was very coachable. Even if I would get feedback and someone tells me, no, it's not the right way to do it, or they tell me, okay, you've done it this way, but let's do it this way. I was so open to learning and never taking anything personal. You know, sometimes people can get annoyed when you get feedback. When you get feedback, I believe it's always a chance for you to make yourself better. Just take it that you're making yourself better in a faster way. Because if you do something and it's wrong and someone's like, no, Liz, don't do it this way, there is this other way of doing it. I'm like, oh, okay. I see it as a shortcut to learning because somebody has given you feedback in real time. So I kept on learning from those before me who had been there and already done something. So they tried and tested. It's like someone giving you best practices of don't try this long code of 30 lines. There is this way we can do it in 15 lines. So I'm like, oh wow, that's nice to know. Let me learn how to do this. Instead of doing this SQL code over and over again, oh, did you know you can use Python to automate this? I'm like, wow, okay, show me how you've done it. Send me your code and I review it. So be always willing to learn. Always accept negative feedback or positive feedback to better yourself, and always learn about the business. This is something I'm very passionate about, learning a business, because you have to have an open mind to understand the business and be able to translate what the SQL into a business context. How can I use the data that we have in order to answer this question in the business? What am I trying to drive at? What am I trying to accomplish? Are there data points that I can use in order to achieve this strategic goal? So those are how I can really categorize the hard skills from the soft skills.
All right. Thank you so much, Liz. So Liz has mentioned them. You've heard them. So she began from Excel, SQL, some bit of BI tool, Power BI or Tableau. Then she's telling you can now automate your stuff with Python. Liz did not say that you start by automating, but she said after you've mastered the first ones, now you can learn a better way of doing things by automating. So this is usually one of the challenges beginners have, that they are told a lot of things at times and they lose track. And even if not, they get scared of where they don't know where to start from. So usually, like she said, Excel or spreadsheet, SQL is SQL, structured query language, then Power BI or Tableau, and again you can move to Python. By the way, every beginner, that should be your path. That is what you should take. Then later on you can leverage Python, because most beginners do this. But we also need to know that the world is evolving and it is changing so much every now and then. You realize that today those are the requirements to begin with, but as we evolve, you realize that maybe a point will come when knowing Excel is not all that important, which is not in the near future, because over 90% of organizations actually use just Excel to do whatever that they need to do. So thank you so much, Liz. She told you about be willing to learn. Now, part of that could be the domain, okay? So the field that you're in, like we're talking about different analysts who are domain specific, marketing. So if you're into health, there are also health analysts, okay? So whatever field you're in, when you go there, like you said, you have to learn a lot. So that aside, I think we can move on to our next. Thank you so much, Liz. So the fourth one is going to be, well, in her conversation, she was talking about mentorship. She went to data camp, to this and that, then for internship, for the mentorship, where she is for the mentorship. So Liz, what is your role when it comes to mentorship in shaping careers, and how has it influenced your growth in analytics? Maybe you can summarize that, since you've been talking about it, so that we can also get something from it.
Yes, I believe mentorship in my career has played a very, very huge role, especially when it comes to how fast I have grown in a short time that I've been in this career. Because when I tell people my journey of where I started as a very beginner and where I am right now and the work that I'm doing, especially in that time frame, the duration of just over 2 years, people can't believe that I was once a beginner just 2 years ago. And I really, really think it's because I had a really great mentor. She really helped me see what I couldn't see in myself. I would give a story, for example, as I told you, I had a lot of imposter syndrome, but she was somebody who would always keep pushing me. Should be like, Liz, like the same way I've told you, you think you've done something amazing doing these 30 lines, but there is this way you can do it in 15. So I used to look at the way she used to write her code and how she would arrive at that point. It's not about just copying code or copying SQL. It's why did you do it? So I always had the why. I'd ask, okay, why did you use this route instead of using this one? And she would explain her thought process. So she would guide me saying, okay, this is what we want to achieve. If this is what you want to achieve, I started by saying step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she would guide me in the steps that she has taken in order to arrive at a solution that I would finally see at the end. So it's never about the final code, because people think analytics, oh, coding, is there a lot of code? Yes, there is code, but the code that we use is not why somebody wants to hire you. No, it's about the thought process. Because if you can think through a problem and break it down into smaller steps, you will arrive at the solution in such a concise way that you can even replicate it. As I talked about, you can automate it. You know why you're doing something. If they come and ask you, why did you do this? You can go through step by step and explain, I started here. This is the data that we have. I use this and this. And then I used the code to come up with this output. So for me, I had this mentality, oh, it's all about the code. Or every time, as soon as I would get a business question, I would dive in immediately into the code. And she was able to guide me and mentor me, saying, no, you're here to think through problems. You're not here to just write code. Your gift is in the way you think and not necessarily what you can write. Because AI can actually write code. Everyone knows that. You can use it, but AI does make mistakes. It cannot think through a process. It doesn't know what you're trying to achieve. It doesn't know the data that you have. It doesn't know that the constraints, the challenges that you're having in your business or in the outside world. So when you're able to think through a problem and break it down, then finally you land into the solution. Is something that I learned from her, and she mentored the way I am able to think through problems, the questions that I'm supposed to ask, how to handle them, how to phrase them, how to write them out, how to write down my thoughts. So I would say that mentorship has played a great role, because I used to be attached to this person by the hip because I just loved the way she would think. And I think also she realized that I never took anything personally, ever. Even if I did something wrong and then she told me, you know what, this is not right. What you've done is not right. Your approach is not correct. I was so open to learning from her. So by being able to absorb all the knowledge she was able to share with me, I believe that it has been able to accelerate my growth faster than how it could have been if I was alone in this journey.
Okay, thank you so much, Liz, for sharing your experience. Guys, mentorship in any field is key. Okay, and also at times a mentor may not be someone who has been there for 100 years. Anyone that has been in the field before you is worth being a mentor. Liz can be a mentor here. I can be a mentor. For example, this particular year I set out to mentor 500 people. Okay, so far I think I have like 10 who have joined ever since. But of course, that is like a week ago. So Like I shared a link there. Go sign up, create an account. On that platform, you can ask anything and you can be guided. And also, have some courses that you can follow. So we shall have some bit of webinars in the future which are a little bit technical for you guys to get some bit of really hands-on. So, but one thing I would say is mentorship is key. Personally, I used to get mentorship because I was in a health-related environment. We had professors in biostatistics, so I disturbed them so much. So I also got some mentors online somewhere and also had to do a lot of personal reading. Like she said, be willing to learn. When someone tells you do ABCD, do that. One other thing you need to learn from analytics, like she's saying, you have to do stuff for yourself. For example, the people I mentor, you die with your things. So for me, I give you an idea of, okay, what if you did this and this and that? Okay, do this and this and that. We can even just do an example. You have to do the rest for yourself, then you present to me. For me, this kind of mentorship of I have to give you everything, even if you're taking on my course, we just meet. There is recently, I think yesterday, one of my mentees was complaining because the previous time I gave them 10 minutes. Then I told them, my brother, you have to do things for yourself because the field where you are, you have to get hands-on. For me, my work is to guide you. Let's say you take this path, I tell you, okay, I think we can take this. You get stuck, you can't move. Then I guide you and tell you, okay, I think now we can take this direction. You lose morale, I tell you guys, my friend, stuff happens, okay? So you're looking out for opportunities, I tell you, go volunteer. You guys get that? Because some of us are learning these skills, and after you learn, you saw Liz went for an internship, for you want to go and land a job immediately. Stuff may not happen like that. You need to be a little bit humble and also need to be open to guidance. So thank you so much. We can now proceed to our next. So question 5, Liz, in your perspective, what is your perspective when it comes to the analytics landscape in Uganda and across Africa? I'm asking this because you are currently working with MTN, which is a global company. So probably you're exposed to beyond Uganda. And of course, also anyone in the field, when you get a job, it doesn't mean that you've arrived. Actually, getting a job, every step you get to is the starting point to another level. You land your internship, that is the starting point. You've not yet gotten there. That is the starting point to getting retained or getting another job elsewhere. You get that job, that is your starting point, on to getting a promotion, and so on and so forth. Maybe you're starting as a data analyst. Your dream is to become an AI engineer. So there is where you are is always the first step. You guys, I think, Kenny, do you remember that class of this one? I'm sure everyone studies in leadership and management, Maslow's hierarchy of needs when it comes to motivating people. Everyone, usually your point where you are, what is other people's epitome is your basic. You have a car, you want a plane. So that is how life is. So even in this line, when it comes to analytics, same thing. Where you are is your basic point. So you're aiming higher. So Liz, in your opinion, what is your perspective on the landscape in Uganda? Are we seeing an increase? Are we seeing a decrease? How is it happening, and what do you expect that is going to happen all over Africa? Answer 1, then 2. Of course, the next one is just a supplement. Are the opportunities in this field growing, and what are the factors that are driving these changes? Yes, over to you, Liz.
So when it comes to my perspective on the analytics landscape in Uganda and across Africa, I definitely feel like it's still really, really young and growing. I know there are people who are always saying like AI is going to take your jobs, you guys, how relevant is this field? But I cannot stress this more that analytics is still quite very relevant, and it's always a good starting point. Like what you've talked about, your dream might be to be an AI engineer, a data science expert, but if you're beginning, it's not so easy for you to jump directly into those fields if you cannot understand the data. Analytics is usually a very good step for you to learn how to understand the data before you go deeper into these other fields. For example, data science, being a data engineer, an AI engineer, because you will still deal with data at that level, but if you cannot analyze it and interpret it, there is no value you're bringing to a company. You learning all these nice these nice forms of all this nice code and all that does not mean much if you cannot derive any insights from it. And I keep on telling people that it's not about writing the code. Like, what can you get from it? What value are you adding when it comes to the code? So I definitely see so many opportunities because I'm still signed up to job boards. There's so many opportunities I see of for analysts when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to education, in telecommunications, where I currently am. There are always opportunities and they're still there for analysts. You see analysts in this, analysts in this. Sometimes they want somebody who's going to be in marketing, someone's going to be in operations, someone's going to be in product. It's about learning how to even search for these jobs online. Because I have people coming out to me and they're like, how did you manage to get this job? What did you do? And I'm like, guys, you just apply. I didn't do anything special. It's not that I knew anyone in these companies. No, I just learned the skill also of learning how these jobs are posted. Sometimes the HRs who are posting these jobs may not necessarily put data analyst in XYZ, but there are keywords that they have put in there which actually are implying that they need an analyst in this type of field. So that's something completely different, but also learning how to search for those jobs and also always getting those alerts for those jobs. So the field of analytics is really growing, and it's also very nice for us to bring awareness to this type of field because people do not understand what analytics is. They don't understand the importance of analytics. But when you explain to somebody why analytics is important, not just in where you're working, but just in life, because analytics helps in decision making. If we're able to make decisions based on data and not because I feel like or because I'm the boss and I said so, I want this to be done, can also help companies realize the value that there is in analytics, and more of these jobs will be created for people to take them up. So it's something that I see is completely open. It's open, it's still young. There is so much that we can do, so much we can learn from others. It's important that many people also join this field, having webinars like this where we are like-minded people, we all want the same thing, joining up. There is so much value in learning from other people in this field of analytics. Somebody has used some certain type of technology and can share with us. Just building a community around analytics, its importance, its value can definitely help other people who are trying to join in to get these jobs, to also spread awareness. That's the first one. And yes, and the second question you asked me about the opportunities are still growing. Till this day, I still get these alerts. As I said before, there are so many alerts for these jobs which are still coming through. So I do not think it's saturated, at least in Uganda, where I am. Some people say it's saturated in other parts of the world. I am not sure about that, but I believe there is still an opportunity for everyone to join this field, or even if just use this field as a stepping stone to go into another career as well as a data professional.
Oh, sorry about that. Someone was still telling me I love you. Love you, Dad. Okay. Thank you, Liz, for that. Yes, you guys have heard for yourselves. The field is still young, it's virgin. Like she said, the challenge is most of us are not aware that actually data can make any difference. There is some time back I told people I usually meet so many people and I'm telling them of how they can use data to improve their businesses. I've met many rich people here in Uganda who run businesses, who are into real estate. Now, most of these guys are telling you, well, I understand how my business works. Then you tell them, had you actually embraced analytics, you would be a multi-billionaire today. So most of the people don't understand this, and most of them are just comfortable with the little profits that they make. Yet when you embrace analytics and you try to do things based on facts, you can really get there. So part of what we are going to be doing in the mentorship is to also make sure that these opportunities, when they are there, Liz can share them on the platform. I find opportunities, I can share them. Personally, I've linked a number of people to organizations. Usually this I won't say. This we shall share in the future maybe. But yes, so Liz can get someone who can reach out to them and they say, okay, we need this opportunity, you can link them. Usually why I don't want to talk about opportunities is people get, how should I call it? People get entitled. So they come for mentorship and they think you're going to get them a job. So that shouldn't be the case. Yes, so I think we can move on to the next. But like you said, this field is new. For example, usually people used to say we need a statistician and put a degree in statistics. I don't think, well, I think such people are still there. But in the world of today, people no longer say those things of degree in this. People now want people who are hands-on. People need people who can think critically. People need people who can contribute to solving problems. And now, let me tell you a big secret. Don't be deceived that there is a non-profit entity. Like we see that is an NGO, not profit, non-profit. Let me tell you this, everyone wants to see return on investment, and return on investment comes on how much money have we saved if it is an NGO, okay? And two, a company. I have a company, you come, I hire you. All I need to see is how much profits are you actually adding, okay? So as you learn analytics and as you think of this field, you have to keep that at the back of your mind, okay? That regardless of what happens, there should be value that you're bringing on that table. So they hire you to bring in more money. Liz, I'm sure you are in MTN and they hired you because they want you to support them, satisfy clients better in a way of making more money. I hope you can also agree to that. So we can now move on to our next, and our next question is going to be, so Liz, in your field, okay, you mentioned this a little bit briefly because people say, of course, as a data professional, you should be hearing this. So in your field, you as Liz, how has AI impacted your work and what opportunities does it bring for individuals in your role? So want to look at the opportunities, the impact of AI and the opportunities. Of course, impact can be negative or positive, but let's hear from you.
So when it comes to AI, the impact I have seen is mainly when it comes to debugging my code. AI can be complicated when you don't know what you want to do. As they say, garbage in, garbage out. So for me, how it has impacted has really come, okay, it really helps me when I want to debug. Let me give an example. If I wanted to get, I don't know, the total sales for 2024, and I'm reaching a point and I'm like, okay, I know this answer should add up to, for example, if it's 1 million a month, by the end of the year it should be 12 million. Sorry, at the end of the year, it should be 12 million and I'm getting maybe 11.1. And I know, okay, there must be a mistake here. So I use AI to debug. I look at my code step by step and like there's something wrong because debugging it takes a lot of time to debug, especially if you know, if if your code is a little bit complicated, it can really take a bit of time. So AI has really helped me to reduce the time when it comes to debugging my code. That's the first one. Secondly, I have used AI when it comes to finding different ways to improve a product. So you can have a product and you want to get a creative way of improving it, and you have a business case. So I use AI to help me think about a problem. Now I think there's that brainstorming function that you can use AI to help you brainstorm an idea. So I can brainstorm an idea to look at different ways I can approach it. This is without the code. This is now me trying to think about it in a critical way. I can ask it questions. What would be the best way to represent this data? Should I use a bar chart, a line chart? What could be a difference? Like, what kind of solution could I apply here? Then it can give you options, and then I can choose one that applies in my case. So I use AI as a tool to debug and also to get creative ideas, because like as in a business, you always have to find creative ways of getting a return on investment. As you say, you can't do the same thing you did last year. They'll be asking you, okay, now you have new targets. We want you to increase this target by 20%. So last year it worked. So what are you going to do this year? So those are types of prompts I can ask them. Okay, get me a creative way to increase the sales by 20%. What can I do? So when it gives me that solution, I can try to put it in the business context and see if it's applicable, or give me an idea on how to approach it. And when it comes to opportunities, when it comes to using AI, I definitely think it helps in creativity. It helps you think of new ways to do something. And I really like that brainstorming function, because sometimes you may not really have somebody to think through a problem with you. So it can help like brainstorm the different ideas. You think of this idea, it can help you improve it. So in my experience, that's how I've used AI so far when it comes to analytics.
Okay, that's great. So you guys have heard about brainstorming, I've heard about using it for debugging and so many other things. One thing I need to emphasize, even those people I mentor, I tell them, you need to learn the fundamentals, okay? So you guys need to have the basic knowledge of, okay, in case I have categorical data, how best can I represent it? You will know I can use either bar chart or a pie chart. And also, however much I can use a bar chart and a pie chart. When should I use a bar chart and when should I not use a bar chart? Or when should I use a pie chart and when should I not use a pie chart? You will have to know the basic knowledge of, okay, if I have more than 3 categories, the pie chart is not the best option to utilize. Rather, I'll go for a bar chart. So, you who thinks you're going to just go into AI and run stuff here and there and so on, it may not work like that. It helps those who have basic knowledge or who have fundamentals, also those who know what they want. In the analytics process, I need to gather data, clean it, analyze it, visualize it, interpret it, communicate it. So, you will have to know that, okay, at cleaning stage, I need to look out for A, B, C, and D. So AI will just tell you, let's say you're dealing with Python and you're not so sure of the code, AI will give you the code for cleaning, for identifying missing values and, putting them right. But still, you will need to have knowledge of optimization, because in case you're to go even deeper into automation and, of course, machine learning, sometimes the code you write might actually take longer to run, or actually it can be optimized to be fast. So you may need to have all that knowledge before you to say, okay, I'm going to use everything with AI. So as I advise people today, when you're learning, learn with AI, but don't use AI for, everything. You need to learn. Let's say you have a book, you have a course you're following, but again, you learn along with AI. You don't need to cram all your formulas, however much. Sometimes people may give you an interview because now, I think this I will say, the people I meant, I want them to be a bit different in a way that in case you're given an interview where you cannot access ChatGPT because let's say there are so many people, 1,000 that applied, I shortlist, I have 100, I have to expose them to an interview so that I can have 10 that I can interview. Then I'm going to tell you guys, no AI. So that will be one of the ways I'm going to shortlist, because I know someone who cannot rely on AI is the best person to even detect the errors that AI can be able to produce. So how are you going to say that AI has made a mistake just in case, you know? Let's say yesterday I had a session with the mentee and as I guide, I expose you to AI. There is, you guys, I don't know if you know Google AI Studio. Google AI Studio, you can even share your screen the way we are here. You're dealing with a spreadsheet and you ask it, okay, if I need to generate a bar chart, okay, what is the best this and that for me to utilize? Now, yesterday I demonstrated to the learner that AI makes mistakes, because there is a mistake AI made that was so self-explanatory that even a beginner could see. So if you're someone who thinks that AI is going to do everything for you, then that is not right. Now, that is not about to happen in the near future. But of course, the way you search Google and in the end Google is searching is the way AI is. So as you put in stuff and you correct it, of course, you're going to end up with something that is more accurate in the future. But for now, we can use it for the good. What she mentioned is absolutely right. We can rely on it and a lot more. So as we come towards the end, let's look at number 7. Of course, from our discussion, some of you may have answers for this, but let's hear from Liz. Liz, the debate around AI replacing human roles, do you think this could happen to data analysts or data professionals?
Currently, as we speak, of course, there are always going to be improvements in AI. We do not know the future, but currently what I see and from what I do, I do not think it will be anytime soon. Although I know it's very important for us to embrace AI. Embracing AI will help us when it comes to efficiency, like how I mentioned before, when it comes to debugging. If you're able to write code and debug it faster, that means you can create value faster than somebody who has to manually look at code. So I believe that AI is a tool which we can leverage for our own productivity, and it will also help us to use that extra time that we would have used debugging to do other activities that are actually income generating, to come up with creative ideas to solve problems. So as an analyst, you're not just a button that they press start and stop, like give me data for this, you just run to a computer and just write code. No, you always have to go the extra mile of advising these stakeholders. I don't think this is the right approach for you to get this type of outcome. You want to see month on month. Okay, okay, let me give a better example. You want to see it as an aggregate for the whole year, but no, let's break it down and let's see these totals month by month in order to see if there is a trend that is forming, that you can leverage the points, those data points, and make more money in given months or in different seasons. Like now that's already an insight. Somebody can just come to, oh, I just want this. So if this kind of person who is going to be a pushover, I'm like, oh my goodness, my boss has told me to find the aggregate total for 2024. Let me rush and write the code. Then you go and run and you're giving. That's not value, and that's not why you're there. You're there to bring insights. Insight means like, what do you see? What can you exploit from the data that can grow this business, can create more profits? Are there any new products that you can leverage? Any new products that can be created from the data? Are you seeing what kind of trend is forming? So I believe that AI can help us see this clearer. It can help create more time for us now to get those creative insights, that can help a business. So if Of course, if you do not embrace technology, you will be left behind. It's not saying that AI is bad and it's evil. No, you have to learn how to embrace it and use it for your own purpose, for the purpose to better yourself, to increase your efficiency. Of course, your fundamentals have to be rock solid. You have to know your fundamentals so you know how to use the AI. So it's definitely not something to be afraid of. For me, I'm actually excited whenever I see new AI developments because AI cannot understand a business context more than a human can. It cannot understand the challenges. It cannot understand these environmental factors that are happening in a country. All those are factored into a business. You know that your strength lies in being an actual human being who can see these factors, and you use AI just so that you can put those constraints, let's say, in the code that you're putting through, and AI can help you run it faster. That's what I think about AI in this case.
Okay, thank you so much. Washington is also saying AI works based on commands, so it's the analyst to think on what to be done. That's right. That is why today we have what we call prompt engineering. How do you use this AI? How do you input this prompt for you to have the very best? Yes, Liz, thank you so much for that. Like she said, we don't tell the future, only God knows the future. But from the look of things, AI can never fully replace the data analyst. Now, the only difference might be we might have tight competition, so you may have to be good. This does not apply only to data professionals. This applies to every field. So I don't want you to be biased to say, okay, I think let me look for something else. If you want something else, do business that sells food. Why? Food will never become irrelevant. So, thank you, Liz. I think we can now go on to our next. Thank you for your patience all for these extra minutes that are added. So this is more or less a bonus. And in this bonus, so we can say finally, if you could give... Daddy, how are you? Fine. Thank you. So, finally, if you could give one piece of advice to aspiring data analysts, what would that be?
I actually have two. So the first advice that I would give them, and I think you mentioned this already, is not to be afraid to start where you are. Because right now I'm talking from this whole discussion, somebody might be thinking, oh, this is so much, oh, she knows a lot, how this road seems like it's never ending. But I was a beginner who was also writing a basic statement in SQL of select all from this table, and it gave me everything from the table. And I was so excited. I remember that day when I was learning my first line of code. Yes, I knew there were people who were better than me, but it's always important to be consistent and also determined, because consistency compounds. I don't know if you've seen that statement whereby they say 1 to the power 0 is equal to 1, but 1 to the power 1.01, I've forgotten what the answer is. It gives you a really huge number. It's not 1. So even that little that you're learning every day, but consistently, believe me, when you look down the road 6 months or 3 months from now, you will see that you are really so far. And I'm so glad that time I never gave up and I kept on pushing. I didn't have mentors. Like right now, there is more awareness into this field. I didn't even know that the field actually existed when I began in a data camp. I didn't even know about anyone called a data analyst. But I continued, and I don't even know why I continued, by the way, looking back at it right now. I don't even know why, but it was the passion that I had for to learn. I already learned earlier in life to be consistent, so I was so lucky. It helped me to push on, and then always learning from people. As I said, always learning from people is the easiest way to learn. And for me, if somebody can tell me that I am wrong in the shortest time possible and show me the right path, I am forever grateful, because you have spared me hours of research. You have spared me hours of trying to understand a concept. If you can tell me, Liz, this is not the right approach because of X, Y, Z, if I agree with you, I'm like, okay, what is a better approach? Tell me the better approach. Tell me why. And you've saved me lots of time. So getting somebody to mentor you, to show you the path. These things have already been tried and tested. There is no reason why you want to reinvent the wheel saying, oh, now for me, I want to do it my way. I'm going to do it this. Made it my way, but still, earlier on, I found a mentor and she helped me. She accelerated my career really, really quickly because I was coachable. Then the second thing I would want to say, piece of advice is what I'd mentioned before. Apart from learning the code, when you have learned the code and you're in your field, whether it's health, education, telecom, fintech, always strive to be an expert in the field when it comes to understanding the business. Understand what you're trying to do. What is the problem you are trying to achieve? If you don't understand that, your code is useless, because you'll be like a machine. You'll be like AI when they tell you jump and you just say how high. If someone says jump, you can say how high, but why should I jump? At what rate should I jump? Why am I even jumping in the first place? You're not just a machine saying, oh, they've told me to do this, let me run and write this code quickly. No. Take your time to understand the problem at hand. What is the best way for you to do this? Is there an easier way of doing this than the way that they have recommended? What are other ways that could be done? Like, what's the next step? Don't just be a machine to just, whatever they say you're going to do. No, learn to ask questions in your mind, because that's when they will see you saying, this Liz has a very lovely way of thinking. I love the way she thinks. Let's have a conversation with her. Let's bring her onto this meeting and see what else she can tell us about the data. So that you stop being from just an employee, but they see you as somebody who can be pushed to the next level. So that one will help you grow your career really, really quickly in such a short time. So those are my two main pieces of advice that I'll give to aspiring analysts or anyone who's already in the field and they just want to keep growing. And this advice also applies to myself, because I tell myself these things every day. I'm like, Liz, they're telling you to do this, but before you do it, let's go back and ask this person these questions. We're not just going to be a machine where they press start, stop. No, we're going to ask questions and we are going to get to the root cause of why we are doing this.
Hey, that's great, Liz. Thank you so much for your submissions. Yes, guys, please just start. Regardless, just start. So, Liz, one more
We
question.
start with the questions. Okay.
Sorry?
Are we starting with the questions? Okay, no, you're making a summary.
No,
Okay,
I'm telling people to just start. Yes, I'm just saying that they should just start. And if you can, Liz, do you mentor people yourself?
Yes, I do mentor people. I have people who reach out to me through my TikTok. I have a TikTok which is strictly analytics. I have people who reach out to me and I do mentor them. So it's really, really exciting to see people who want to grow and to learn. I feel really great when somebody reaches out to me and is genuine and wants to learn and push themselves, because I see myself in their shoes and where they are. And I also wish I had somebody who was mentoring me right from the start.
Hey, that's great. So you guys have had Liz also mentors. If you'd love Liz to be your mentor, reach out to her. For me, my purpose this year is to mentor 500 people, either directly or indirectly. When you get to this platform, you learn of Liz and other people, you choose them as your mentors. Indirectly, I've also mentored you. So all that we need is to support each other, to grow, and all of us get there. So, but also Liz is is going to join the Nuhuh's platform. She's going to be one of the mentors there. When people ask questions, Liz, before I ask Liz accepted already. Not so, Liz?
Of course, I love to mentor, so I will definitely be there.
Okay, so guys, that is the platform. If you don't have an account, create it. We have free resources there. And in fact, even the mentorship, your questions will ask, we shall answer you for free. We shall have some of these webinars for free. Though we shall also have a paid part of the mentorship. So those who want extra may have, everything you invest in something sometimes. So such that we all push forward and learn the skills that we need. Otherwise, every Thursday we are going to be having this. Maybe we may have to shift it to 8 p.m. Okay, but again, we shall have to shorten it 8 to 9, such that we can accommodate more people who might get caught up maybe because of jam and so on, to have so many people benefit. But otherwise, the platform is there. Join. There is a Q&A. Those who sign up, there is a Q&A space, so that is where you can be able to ask. There is a lot there. Some are inspiring, some are educative. In fact, next week, if not Sunday, on Monday, we are going to stream live data analytics with Python, where you end up with a product. So in learning analytics, you don't go on a website and start reading Excel. How do you do this? You learn by doing. In fact, if you can start with a project from the start to the end, like the approach I use when I'm mentoring people, before you're to even go into where is this function, where is that, where is the other, we go through building a portfolio project, other things you learn along the way. After you've mastered creating an interactive dashboard, you can now get back to other things like, okay, now if I wanted to do this and that, if I need VLOOKUP, so that is the best way to learn analytics. So if you're starting up, whether you're following a YouTube tutorial or whether you're doing a course, go for a course that is hands-on, that is going to let you do stuff for yourself. So that is how you master. Above all, have the passion, have the determination. Just know, Liz said something that she doesn't know why she started. I'm going to tell you this. There is another invisible hand usually we don't talk about. That is God. There is always God behind every single step that we make. So even your success, your love and passion will be fueled by the will of God, because we plan and God lets them happen. So otherwise, I'm going to open the floor. We have up to 9:30 because we began a bit late. Thank you for being patient. So I'm going to give at least 5 people to ask questions, and Liz will respond to them. You can fire them to Liz or you can fire them to me. The floor is yours, guys. Just put up your hand. I'll select.
I'm really grateful for the wonderful discussion. I've really learned a lot. I've actually realized that data is also another profession, actually. I just knew it, people taking certificates, what and what, but I'm now seeing it as a big thing. So my question is simply, I've acquired some certificates, like 2 or 3, introduction to data science, introduction to data analytics. However, I think some way on the way, I didn't keep consistency because of the work and the course balance. So how did you people who are working, how did you find that time so that you completed the course? Thank you.
Is this for Liz or for me?
Anyone
Liz,
can
over
answer.
to you. Okay. Now, that is question 1. Let's get all the questions, then we shall answer them later. Liz, you can type in chat as they ask, such that in the end we handle them so fast. Yes, any other person? Guys, no questions? Okay, Joanita?
Yes, good evening to you all. I'm Joanita Nangovi. It's a pleasure to join you this evening. Sorry that I joined a little late. But when I joined, I noted that you talked about the sequence of learning. You began with Excel, is it SQL? I would like to request for that full list before you get to the Python. Yeah, just that clarity. Thank you very much.
Okay, but also, Joanita, kindly sign up for the mentorship. The free program is also there, no worries. So, Francis, over to you. Liz, I hope you're taking the questions.
Yes, I'm writing them down. It's okay. They can go ahead.
Okay. So, Francis, please unmute and talk. Okay, any other person? Kenneth, any questions? I remember you and me used to make people leave late in class. So no questions today.
You can just take this question. Anyways, just one not to be the reason as why people are leaving late. Liz, at any one point, probably during your internship or your earlier stages when you're starting, did you ever feel like things were getting too hard and you need to turn back to engineering, like your civil engineering profession? And how did you overcome that?
Okay, so Francis, your hand was up. You can now unmute and talk if you can.
Yes,
it should be the last that we take.
My question is, because I'm into training, are there any professional courses in this field of data analytics, the way you can see in project management, there's PMP, in risk management, there's all these sorts of professional courses. In this specific area, are there any specific professional courses that are globally recognized that someone can do? And if yes, which ones are they?
Okay, thank you so much. So one more person I'll give an opportunity to ask. If they are not there, okay, Washington. Others you should type in. Others should type in chat. Washington.
Okay, I have one serious question to Liz. So Liz, in your data journey, have you ever cried? And what made you cry and how did you wipe your tears? So you answer it in that sequence.
It is a serious one indeed. So I see Kaita, was your hand up? Katalai, sorry. Okay, Sam, maybe your question?
Yes. Yes, this is Katal. I have a question.
Yes, Katalai, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, for me it was basically just for contacts and emails, for example. If we would like to reach out to Liz, and I don't know, maybe we shall get them from the site.
That's right. For you've been answered. Yes, Sam.
So my last question was, I didn't start with Excel. Does it affect me in any way?
Okay. Okay. So we shall go in the sequence of the order of the questions. So Liz, over to you.
Okay. So, for the first question, he was asking where he did some few courses, and where did we get the time to complete them and get, like, while we are working? Well, this one is a hard question, really, because, as I mentioned, consistency compounds. You just have to set out time. What works for me is that I will set out saying, okay, in the morning, I have to get 1 hour every single day to do something. So if you've finished these courses or you want to do a refresher in these courses, say every morning, I am going to give my 1 hour to learning SQL. I'm going to be doing something in SQL every single day. However small it is, I will do it. So just set some time aside to polish up your skills. It doesn't have to be a long time, but if you do set yourself some time, you'll get to see that you develop interest more. You to better yourself. When you do set time aside to better yourself, you're better than doing nothing. You're better than binge watching shows on Netflix, because you're investing into yourself. So each time you feel like, okay, I have to go to work, or I've done this, I don't have time, just think of what the future you would be looking back. Like what I said, I'm like, wow, I'm so glad that I was consistent when I was beginning, because it's that consistency that has brought me here, and I didn't give up along the way. Just set out time and try every day to keep pushing yourself in the positive direction. If you're lost and you don't know where to go, as has been mentioned, you can always reach out to us for guidance. Don't die alone. Don't die in your movie. Don't die in a movie alone. Seek for guidance. Seek for mentorship. Seek for an accountability partner in this journey. So that's what I would advise.
Okay, still to answer him immediately, the next question about it began with Python. Why did he make a mistake? It can be a yes and no. Probably the Python was, Python it involves programming. It's not as easy as Excel can be. But as some, I'm going to give you a special opportunity to start from Excel and move further. For your case, so I'll give you a special opportunity. And also, people on this platform, if you want to learn, there is free mentorship. Like I said, you ask, we have these webinars and so on, but also there is special mentorship where you follow a course. So those of you who have joined this webinar, I'm going to give you special mentorship where you follow a course and you begin your analytics journey. Almost for free. So you will just pay money that you will use. Actually, you're only going to pay for where I hosted the resources. You watching those videos, of course, I am billed. That is the only money that you pay for. So it will be as small as 100,000. So you will learn for 1 month and so on, and you master your skills. So the same applies to you. You're going to have the special offer to get start, to kickstart and keep going. Yes, Liz, you can proceed.
So the next question was from Joanita, asking for the full list of the analytics journey. So just to reiterate what I believe, there is no right or wrong, but what I think works and has helped so many people, starting from Microsoft Excel, then learning SQL, which is structured query language, then learning a BI tool, BI standing for business intelligence tool. This one helps you to be able to represent your data in terms of, lines, line charts, scatter plots, all that. That helps you to visualize your data. Then now I also mentioned about Python, because Python helps you to automate tasks. And this one is becoming quite key because it sets you apart from other analysts. Many people have stopped on this BI journey, at the BI tool, but Python is really becoming really, really key when it comes to analytics as well, when it comes to automation, and it also helps you now start to dip your toes into other data professional fields like data engineering, data science. If you want to become an AI engineer, Python is the language that now starts to help you transition into those other roles. So that is the journey that I was talking about when it comes to analytics. Then was a question from Kennedy. Did I feel like giving up and turning back to engineering at any one point during my internship? Well, there are times when I felt like giving up, but I couldn't turn back to engineering, at least not full time. I was doing it and I still do it on the side because I couldn't have spent 4 years to just throw it away. So I still do engineering, but I do it on my terms and not as something that I go to office for. I still have a passion for it, but it's not my main focus in life at the moment. So yes, there were times when I felt like things were really not working out for me. You feel like people are smarter than you in the field. You feel like, when am I going to get there and be this really huge analyst that people are going to look at? When are my opinions going to start mattering? Everything to me at that point was when. But it's really important to take a day at a time. If you're able to do today and get through today and learn something today that will better yourself, you're better than somebody who has done nothing. So I kept on telling myself that I'm going to reach there, and I took it as an inspiration more than something that actually puts me down. I said, like, you know what? I'm going to be as good as these analysts that I see who can do this amazing code. One day I'm going to reach there. I will reach there. So I took it more of an inspiration rather than something that makes me feel bad about myself. So that's how I changed the way I looked at it. I looked at a situation where somebody might give up, and I decided to turn it around into more of, I would say, I'm so grateful I didn't give up. Just like right now in this moment, I can say that I'm so grateful I didn't give up, and I continued on the journey. Yes. Then we have this other question from Francis. Are there professional courses that are globally recognized? And if so, what are they? Personally, yes, there are courses on analytics. When it comes to, I know there are those ones in Google, Coursera, but when it comes to analytics, I do not think there are courses, unless somebody can correct me, that are globally recognized, because I know this field has more to do with hands-on experience more than the actual piece of paper that you might, or certifications that you might study. So there are these bodies which provide these certifications, but they will not necessarily be something that you can wave around and say that I have done this, so you give me this job. I know that analytics is very hands-on, and what speaks to employers or somebody who wants your services is actually the value you can create from the analytics rather than the certifications that you might have earned throughout your education. Unless somebody can correct me about this one, but so far that's what I have seen in my experience that has worked, and what has worked for me as well. Yes, I'm seeing a hand.
Yes, you put it right. Though the Tableau and Microsoft, I think they offer certifications in business intelligence, so they are globally recognized. But like Liz said, no one will fail unless you're two people who are so good that maybe the team is failing to choose who. Maybe they can say, okay, let's now go for the certifications. But no one is going to refuse to give you a job because you don't have a certification. Maybe you can also try to search out for jobs on LinkedIn. You see there are